Roy, how are you doing right now? How are you feeling?
Tired. Traveling thing got me a little under it, but I'm still good.
Can you say where we are right now?
We're in Italy with the Italians. Very soulful. Lots of good food. Nice people. They make you work hard, though.
And talk to me about just the point in the tour that we're at and how you feel at this point in the tour.
We're at the end of it, and I'm a little worn out from the traveling. That's about it. That's what they pay you for, really. Getting there. The music part's easy.
Roy was an old soul. I don't think this was Roy's first time on this planet.
I would definitely put him up there on the Mount Rushmore of musicians.
There are those amazing trumpet players that were like hallmarks in affecting the history and the trajectory of music and jazz in particular. Roy Hargrove is one of those trumpet players.
Somehow he was a throwback and a throw forward at the same time.
The way he knew music, it's like he knew it so well. He understood it. He spoke music.
He hit the bandstand like it was the last time he was gonna hit the bandstand.
When he got on the bandstand, he changed the life condition of everybody that was in that room.
Roy documented the sound of our time. Every great musician that we revere, that's what they did. He truly embraced what we call jazz.
Musicians and artists, we really seek that outer, that other world. There's this world that we're born into, but this is not the real world. This is not our world. Our world is the world that we get our music from. That's the world that artists and musicians seek.
Most of the artists in America are taken for granted, unless you're a movie star or something. You got 30. Countdown.
It's your piece, bro. Here you go. And can you do me a favor and look towards Hollywood and then look back towards the camera? So
You're done. You finished. You just got fired. All right.
I've known Roy since, I don't know, since I was 17 and he was 20, something like that. Many, many years. You were just calling me.
Yeah. It's okay.
What the heck is going on?
Ragman. It's him. It's all him. All this shit. All that shit. Him. He's just stirring up shit. He don't like you because you make me more money than he do. That's his problem. I figured it out. He's jealous and he's threatened. He gonna have to get over it. He's just gonna have to get over it. I told him that shit earlier. I was like, you gonna have to get over it. And you say that I'm allowing that. I'm not allowing it. I keep telling that motherfucker stop acting like that. He's just ignoring me.
Because he knows he has all the power in the relationship. Or, I mean, it feels like it.
He's just mad. He's mad.
But we could work together. If we were friends, we could. But the thing is,
He's just, you know.
he's gonna be blocking me trying to do my project.
No, he can't block shit. Because it's me. You're gonna have to find a way to make this a little less. Please.
Okay, for sure.
Good boy.
All right.
No, they can't. No.
No,
I'm back at it.
Here, let me just.
He was a really like a father figure to a lot of us. He was like a mentor. Everybody that was in my circle anyway had that very kind of reverent attitude to him. But at the same time, he was somebody that you felt like was like a peer.
I decided on the bow tie tonight. You should have put reality show. Yeah. It's gonna be called Rice Krispie Day. Hey, what happened to your guys? They didn't come in.
They're just, they're being invisible like you asked.
What guy?
Oh, he's already here. See? That's good work. I'm proud of you. You have learned before us.
The guy could hear paint dry. He could just hear it, all of it, and feel it. When he stepped to the mic and played, you heard it coming from all the way back to the blues and, you know, the entire history of the music.
My wife said, Sonny, did you hear that guy? Boy, he's really great, this young guy. So why don't you invite him to do Carnegie Hall? And of course, he was a sensation.
There's Big Band Roy, there's Trio Roy, there's Funk Roy, sort of dissonant fusion Roy. There's hip hop Roy.
I mean, just think about the way he played ballads. That's some real shit.
You told me you were a scientist.
Yes, of sorts. Well, music is a science. You know, I think some people say that music is a art form. I disagree. I think music is what the Sufis call it the divine science. Because one thing about music, you can't actually see it. You can't touch it. You can't smell it. And you can't see it. The only way it comes to you is through your ears. And, you know, when you feel it.
The last part of the bridge.
In 1988, I helped arrange some gigs in Texas with Wynton Marsalis. And Wynton called over to the Performing Arts High School in Dallas to ask if he could come over and do an impromptu clinic for the kids. Expressed his opinion that this little kid was really going to be a great talent.
He was fantastic. He was playing lead trumpet and he was playing the solos. And he played with unbelievable clarity and feeling. And he was ebullient, effusive.
April of 1987. Word had gotten back to Philly that there was this young kid in Dallas that was just, he was going to be the next dude.
I met him in the hallway at Arts Magnet High School, 1985. I was an incoming freshman, and I'm sure all the sophomores, juniors, and seniors were trying to figure out who was who, what was what. And he was one of the people who were like, don't worry about it, you just, you don't have to go to all the classes. I was like, oh, that's what we doing? Okay. And then I found out we had a class together, and that's when we really kind of figured out we had the same sense of humor. And that's what bonded us, our sense of humor. Our spirits met first through laughter. And the world was a private joke between us and God.
It was like the spring of 1976. We always had these like fierce jazz band competitions. And this trumpet player could have been about, 8, 9 years old. That was really playing. And this little guy won best trumpet soloist. Elementary school, man. We was in like high school. Look at this little kid, man.
We got all ones, by the way, which is a good thing. That means perfect. And I read the comment sheets, and they were all going off about my trumpet solo. And it was only like 8 bars.
I met Roy back, and I think he was 17 years old. I had a concert in a club in Fort Worth, Texas, and Larry says, it would be great if you could let him sit in on something. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, he's a 17-year-old kid. I've got, like, pros up here. I had no idea how amazing he was. And it was like lightning.
He was not
afraid to play jazz or what they call jazz, but he played it like someone who is coming from today, someone who's a product of the hip-hop generation, R&B generation of the 90s.
He was only 17, but he played like he was 45.
I knew of his name and his reputation all throughout my high school career. You can go back to King Oliver and Armstrong in the beginning of what we know as jazz trumpet at the beginning of the parenthesis and put Roy at the end.
He had a huge impact on me. I was young, I was like 18, 19 years old. Trying to be a cultured adult in New York City. That he was not someone that you could be impartial to when he was present. We met like saying hello, but I was also kind of like intimidated, because I was like, this dude is real, like the real thing. And then there was one night at the Blue Note, like he played this solo. And he went by the side of the stage and just leaned down, like. He stayed that way for a while. And I remember feeling like there was a lot going on with him as a person. Like there was like all of that fullness of his playing was coming from a very deep place emotionally.
Roy was quiet about what he felt inside. It wasn't until later, our conversations later got a lot deeper, so I got a lot more insight into him.
A lot of jazz musicians make it seem like you're in like a secret club and you speak this secret language that only if you know the language, you can understand it. And Roy had a way of playing all those things. He was just as technical as anybody, but he also knew how to talk to people musically that didn't understand that. And that's why he was a connection, he was a bridge.
$1996. Yes. Ragman wanted me to be with him on this Creole thing. And that's when, I first got introduced me to, Chucho Valdez and Anga Diaz and Artanguito. And it was, I guess, during the Creole time, that's when we really began to bond. And we talked about a whole lot of things, music, but mostly we would really be talking spirituality, man.
In 1995, I went to Cuba for the first time by invitation of Chucho Valdez. And I remember being just blown away by the amount of virtuosity that was taking place among the musicians that I heard there, you know. The last person that had been to Cuba that was American was Dizzy Gillespie, so they kind of brought me there in the shoes of Dizzy.
The next thing I know, Ragman told us that the record got nominated for Grammy. We really got flack from the, quote, Latin community for that record. I mean, because they were trying to say that, boy, how could he win a Latin Grammy? He can't even speak Spanish, man. I said, wait a minute, man. I said, you know, if you call yourself Latin, then you should be saying E pluribus unum, you know what I'm saying?
But you know, they came up with a Latin Grammy after that year. They had a whole thing so that wouldn't happen again.
I had a good time, man.
I'm not very comfortable, really, like, you know, talking about these things. You know, I'm doing it for you because you think it's important, but I don't know. You know, I've been living on dialysis for the past maybe 10, 15 years or so. Maybe more than that by now. But, yeah, it's not easy. But you do what you have to do. Try to survive, that's it.
Why haven't you gotten a kidney transplant?
Mostly has to do with time. You know, because it involves having to, basically I have to quit working for maybe 6 months or so like that. And I can't afford to do that right now. But eventually I'll do something.
Do you want to get a kidney transplant?
I don't know. Right now, I'm on the fence about it. Yeah, can we talk about something else, please? Please?
Yeah, a couple of the younger musicians who we've interviewed talk about how you hum tunes to them, to teach them music.
Well, I mean, if you can sing it, pretty much you can play it. You should be able to anyway. That goes back to what I was saying earlier, you know, having that connection with your instrument, that it's like all you have to do is start to play it, and whatever that you hear is coming out.
Roy had perfect pitch and he had incredible understanding of harmony.
Perfect pitch is basically if you play a key on the piano or any instrument, you could tell what that note is. And he was able to hear what that was, and he could play several notes on the piano. He could tell you what it is. As a musician, you're supposed to be able to hear qualities of chords, major, minor, diminished, all this musical terminology, but he could hear all that stuff in between.
Can we play Alter Ego? It starts on A, and then E, yeah, and the bridge is G flat to D flat, and then A flat in the middle. A flat G the second time. You cool? D-da-to-dee. You know it? You don't like it, you don't want to play it?
No, I don't know it.
While Roy was never a teacher at a university or at a school, he was one of the greatest jazz educators this music ever saw.
I know 100 young musicians that used to go to Smalls just to see Roy play.
And he always knew how to make it interesting. He always knew what song to play at the jam session to invite everyone in.
This cat would play till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning every night. It's like, dude, go to bed.
That's one thing I love about Roy, too. He didn't care if he was Roy Hargrove. He just wanted to play. He always just wanted to play. So he would go to any jam session. Doesn't matter how good or bad the band is. You know what I mean? Sometimes it make me feel bad. Because I sit there and be like, I ain't playing with them people. And then Roy comes from the bathroom with a trumpet. Like, where did you come from?
His in person, his presence at jam sessions, teaching people tunes, being a part of the lifeblood of the music, always being there. So I think he looms large in that span of time. As an advocate for the music, as a player of the music, as somebody who brought different cultures to the music, or his own virtuosic playing and the clarity of his playing. And he has his younger musicians that are disciples and love his playing and are influenced by it, who are gonna be the face of the music for years to come.
He played music the way I always felt being a young black musician. You know, you accept all music, all black music. It's all black music.
I gotta hear that ride cymbal and some eighth notes. That's what I believe in. Ride cymbal and eighth notes. Ride cymbal is the spangalang, the dance. Spangalang, 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 spangalang. And every musician has a certain way that they play their eighth notes, which sits in with the ride cymbal pattern. And that's it's kind of like your personality. I think that's probably why I like Freddie Hubbard, because he plays with the drums.
Playing at New Morning with Roy was definitely one of the highlights of my musical career, one of my favorite experiences playing music. And I was watching the video of us playing the first song, and I'm nervous, you know, and during the piano solo, I'm watching myself, and I'm like, man, I need to relax a little bit. And then I hear Roy real softly just go, spang-a-lang, 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 spang-a-lang. And I immediately start to play what he's, you know, singing to me. And not many musicians know how to guide you like that. And immediately the music starts feeling much better.
I like playing with my band. It's nice to hear them grow and continue to develop as artists. I'm actually very, very impressed with our pianist, a Japanese fellow, Tadataka Uno. He's soaking it up like a sponge, you know? It's hard to teach cats how to swing. That thing that you can't describe that's in the music that makes people move. It's hard to describe that to another musician if they don't already know what it is, you know? But he seems to be catching on well. I just keep telling him, I'll just be like, man, put that shit in the pocket, you know? And he knows what that means. Put it in the pocket, man. Doesn't matter if it's not in the pocket, there's no point in it.
He'd play some obscure original composition of his that would be quite brainy to some, and then he'd go right into rock with you and make everybody just be, oh, you know, and it's like a setup.
Tadataka Uno on the piano. Amin Salim on the bass. Evan Sherman on the batterie. Saxophone alto Justin Robinson. Thank you, we love you. Merci beaucoup.
He's here every night, you know, just kind of trying to push us in a different way, like showing us different tunes. Sometimes sitting at the piano, sometimes humming the tunes, playing the tunes on the trumpet. He's just very generous with the music, you know. And I feel like one of his things that he says is like, you know, you give to the music will kind of take care of you.
They have a different type of appreciation for a person who is in the arts in Europe.
America is a very diverse place, but there's something going on that doesn't make art a priority. And I don't know what it is. They have a more receptive audience in Europe. I think in America it's more about like how successful, how popular you are, how much traction do you have in a given moment.
Getting there can be sometimes very bothersome. You know, you got to deal with security people, and I had this one guy, he put his whole hand in my fucking nutsack and grabbed it. You know, and it's crazy because they tell you they're gonna do it. It's like, I'm gonna put my whole hand in your nutsack and grab it. You know, and you have to be okay with it, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes when I go to the airport, I need therapy afterwards.
The show's at midnight. Are you gonna do the sound check at 10:30?
I think so. Though I don't know if I'm gonna be there. All right, I'm gonna go change my shirt.
All right.
Story about a man named Chad who was near very careful sunset. And one day he was shooting that spool up to the ground and battling booze. Oil, that is. Black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, Jed's millionaire. Kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you would be. Loaded up truck and Beverly Hills, that is. Swimming pools, movie stars. I'm stopping. Just need like a quick break. You know, I don't walk very good. You guys don't want any ice cream? That ice cream I had was good as shit. I think the first time I came out here was 1989. A group called the Generation Sextet. No, it's still the same. It hasn't changed at all, actually. We came one year with the Generations group, and Jeff Keezer, he knew Miles, and he introduced me to him. So he asked me if I wanted to meet Miles, and I was like, I didn't believe it, you know, of course. I didn't think he really knew him, but then he called him and was like, hey, man, Miles, I want you to introduce you to this trumpet player. And we went here to the Brufani and knocked on Miles's door, and his valet answered and let us in. He asked if we wanted some tea or something, and he told the guy to get us some tea, and he was like, the glasses are dirty. He said, well, go wash them. We had some iced tea, took a picture with him, and then we left. That was my Miles Davis experience. But, you know, I have to say, when I first saw him laying there, you know, my mouth was on the floor. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I was actually seeing him in person. He had that type of aura, you know, it was like really strong. I remember the night when I went to see him perform, when he came off stage and got in the car and drove away, you could see about maybe 3 miles of people following his car as it drove. That's how strong his thing was. I mean, everybody wanted to just see him. He had that type of thing.
What did he say to you when you met him?
He just said, you know, I heard of you, you know. I heard you're supposed to be a bad motherfucker. They got in the middle of all of this, they got like a hip-hop store. I think that's it, yeah. Smooth Kicks. My father he was the type of guy that, you know, he would go out and buy these records every weekend, and people would come to our house to see what recordings we had so they would know what to get, you know. He always knew what was gonna be the next big thing.
Yeah. I'm celebritaire.
Yes.
Celebritaire. Not really. I need some celebrity money. This is the spot, though, for Perugia, where everybody gets their kicks. That was like a pun, sort of.
Hello? Hi.
And it was interesting to me to see like people starting to dress like Roy. You know, I saw kids like wanting to cut their hair like Roy and dress like or his mannerisms on the bandstand.
And I'll never forget, it changed my life. Roy came in there and he had on sneakers and some overalls, t-shirt, hat, you know, and the whole band was just like that. I've never seen a jazz band, first of all, an all-black jazz band, young black dudes dressed like the way I dress. For what I knew, if you play jazz, you gotta wear a suit. Like jazz comes with a dress code for most people. And Roy completely, I always call him the Allen Iverson of jazz.
What Allen Iverson brought to the NBA, Roy Hargrove brought to jazz, without question. You know, he was certainly the first person I ever saw in the jazz community wear Air Jordans with a suit.
This is like the little hip-hop joint in the middle of Perugia, you know? They got stuff. Like, look behind you, look at that. That, what is that thing? That's like, wow. Is that a grasshopper?
I remember one of the first tours, drummer Idris Muhammad was there. And he had a pinky ring, big-ass diamonds and shit on it. We were on the train, he was counting his beads, Muslim. And he told me that at one point he had stopped playing and became a shepherd. He was out there in the fucking mountains with sheep and shit. Like real. And I'm like, what? This is Idris Muhammad, you know, he was the drummer for Hair. Remember Hair? Yeah. He was also Curtis Mayfield's drummer. You know, but he also played jazz too, from New Orleans. And I used to bug out on him because he'd be like, every now and then he'd come out with some stylish shit. Like one time he had some purple leather pants on. And I said, well, hold up. You got on purple leather with a diamond pinky ring and shit.
With discount, 80.
Really?
Yeah, what size do you have?
Me, 10.
I can bring the size, and we can try
Make
on.
sure I got the money first. Hey, Eliane, you want to buy me some shoes?
Which ones?
They're 80.
80?
Yeah, that's cheap.
Okay. Yeah! I'm doing the size for you.
Made my day. This is a day in the life. You know, it's what I do a lot of times. I go into a town, if I have time, I'll go walk around and go shopping and buy something to wear for the gig. It's kind of exciting. Bye-bye.
Bye, have a nice time. Thank you.
I want some more ice cream. That ice cream was good as shit.
You want more?
I think so.
Let's go to the ice cream store. I love that food.
It's the best ice cream I've ever had in my life. Besides Bluebell, of course. Which they don't have it in Texas. See. You guys okay? No ice cream for you? Sit down. But that's okay. How you guys doing? Okay? You can stop filming me now. For a minute. Just give it a break.
I was on tour with my quintet, and I started getting this pain in my back, lower back area, and it was really, really kind of, minor at first, and then it started to be kind of heavy, and I didn't know really what was wrong. I had this thing to where I was going to the bathroom a lot just before that, and you ignore these type of things when you shouldn't. Of course I did, because I was just trying to do the gig, Everything for the gig. Trying to make the gig. You ignore shit, and then it comes back on you,
That ice cream was one hell of an experience. Strangely enough, I think that the music has something to do with it.
The music in the store?
No, I think that the fact that it's next to the festival grounds. It's next to the hotel where all the musicians stay. It's kind of in between. Like on this side, you got the Brufani, and over there's the Rosetta, and they both filled with musicians. And I think that vibe is like kind of what makes the ice cream good. It's wild because there's a pizza place in New York that's right above the Village Vanguard. And I swear to God, that's the best pizza I've ever had. And for some reason, I think it's because the music is coming up and making the food better. I don't know, the music's powerful, man. It has a lot of great vibes. And just the fact that all of those artists are right there and over here kind of makes this little in-between area nice. Yeah.
I'm just coming from my gig, and I felt like it was monumental because I was feeling terrible yesterday. I didn't know if I was gonna make it. I could barely stand up. My legs was giving out on me and shit. Then when we started playing, something changed. My body came back. I was worn out from the traveling here. And yesterday, I wasn't sure. I was like, damn, am I gonna make it? And the music started and everything changed. It happens a lot to me.
Playing makes you feel better.
Yeah, I mean, something about the music, it's like magical, Once we start and the first note kicks off, I feel like I'm having an outer-body experience. You never know what kind of musical situation you might be in where you might have to play anything. So you have to be able to deal with it, That means you have to be a complete player, especially now. That means you can't get into these dividing lines that, people use, because they need it, of course, but as a musician, you kind of have to ignore those lines and just go straight for the entire world and attack. But I have to say, if you're playing jazz, that's pretty much the quickest way to be able to be that complete musician, because you have you got all the elements there. You know, you got rhythm, you got harmony, even you have style. Well, we got rained out. You know, the thunder and the lightning was too much for them. But I had an idea. And I was like, well, I know they got a club in town somewhere with some instruments in it. So why don't we just go and play there? So my quintet and I, we were all sitting there, and we decided to go to the club and hit. And all of the people that were at the festival that could fit in there showed up and had a great old time. I mean, it was a little loud and kind of intimate, very close, and the piano was out of tune, but you know, that's all right. We still had a pretty good time. You know, it's important for me to represent the music no matter what. I mean, and we traveled all the way here. We might as well play something. You know, I believe in that. I believe in, you know, people getting a chance to experience the music if we're here, you know, any way we can. And that's just kind of how it happened.
Tell us about your love life, Roy.
What about it? Girls, they come and go in my life. They don't stick around often because my travel thing is not steady. My daughter's mom stayed for a while. She was very sweet. Though I couldn't get along with her because I was a mess. You know. That's kind of pretty much sums it up. I find a nice girl and then I'm a mess and they don't stick around. My life won't allow it. But someday I will have it. And I'll keep it close to me. I won't let anybody get involved so they can ruin it for me.
There was a point in time where Roy and I kind of lost touch, not because anything happened, but just because our careers went separate ways. Right around the late 90s when he started the RH Factor.
The 90s are a moment where there's kind of all this anger that just towards this expression of music was just like, and I didn't understand at that time. I still don't understand it. There's also like a lot of this culpability put on this artistic expression. It's like the reason that this is bad is because of these Negroes over here talking the way that they do or expressing themselves the way that they do. And Roy was not that way. Roy was like, I'm finding the beauty everywhere.
I mean, he really started beginning to spread out, you know? And when during this time I was hanging with Roy, I got to meet some people of his, I guess, his generation, age group, that, yo, dog, I mean, like just blew up, man. Let me tell you about the chicken grease.
D'Angelo was in a Noah's Ark position, and on his short list was Roy Hargrove. Now, mind you, this is 1996, so we're just we're talking about voodoo. Like, voodoo wasn't even a name yet. So, you know, we spent all of 96 just trying to feel each other's musical IQ out, destroying everything that we've known black music to be up until that point. He always spoke of Roy Hargrove, and in my mind, I'm thinking, like, you're trying to initiate someone in the team that's like suit and tie. Like, really?
We saw his genius right away. D'Angelo really didn't give him much direction. We all just kind of asked him, like, what are you hearing on the song, you know?
Watching Roy in real time figure, plot, and plan, and execute, he did it in such a way that I can't explain. It was a trance. He's like looking at the speaker. And then when the song ended, he's like, okay, so it was 16 at the top, and then it's 4 bars, and then another 8, and another 16. Okay, I'm ready.
And we just fell in love with him. Like the first note.
He pretty much did a linear, just long 7-minute idea. He says, all right, I'm gonna harmonize that.
When his first track goes down, it just sounds like just little scats here and there. It doesn't really sound like anything. And then once he's finished layering, it's like this, you know, these amazing horn arrangements.
And that's when I knew that Roy Hargrove was not mere mortal.
The Voodoo album was a big moment. To hear like Roy harmonizing with himself like that was that was a big moment.
The Brooklyn Ball with the Texas King doing things.
I think that Roy was almost immediately like resistant to like the whole nostalgia movement in jazz. You know, revisiting the halcyon days. Him being on the D'Angelo album was like, because what could you say? It was like, you know, this is music. You'd think that it was something that went and would have participated in. Certain people in that world just kind of kept this very stiff arm of distance out. Ultimately, it's to their loss.
You know, I didn't like it. And your jazz musician is very difficult. It's not gonna evolve out of hip-hop musician. But we had a deep conversation about it. I said, man, you know, you can play. It's hard to keep faith in playing. And he said, look, man, you know, I like playing for black people, man. People are not coming to this form of music. You know, this is just what this is. And I can't just be isolated like that. And I respect that.
I'm on one of his albums called Hargrove, RH Factor.
And what song are you on RH Factor?
Poetry. That song, Poetry, was monumental to our relationship, too. In fact, I was very intimidated because I can't read music. I don't even know if I hit the right notes when I sing. I just know how I feel, and I express the way I feel. Yeah, it's intimidating to play with such a gifted musician, even though we were great friends. And I remember him calling me into the studio. He said, just freestyle it, just whatever you feel, just be an instrument. I was petrified. The lyrics are, I give these tears as an offering for joy in return, because tears bring joy. Try not to sweat the past, make the sweetness last, cause rare moments of joy are hard to find. Be happy when you can, but sad is necessary. I know it seems sometimes you're never getting there, but it's okay, it's fair. I didn't remember what I said or what I did. When I left, went to the lounge to lounge a little. And when I came back into the control room, he had listened to it. And I was a little nervous. And he said, you sang real pretty. I didn't know my singing was pretty. I'm insecure.
It's gotta go. I'm tired. It's making me sick.
Me too.
Yeah, me too. But you're doing it. So stop doing it.
Okay, all right. When you're finished, let me know.
All the throwing fucking insults around and all of that shit, talking about what already done happened. That shit's got to go. Now you tell me what you need. What do you need from her?
So you knew his manager.
Yeah.
Here.
Uh-huh.
So
Ragman.
Yeah, Ragman. Tell me about your experiences.
You sure?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Because now since I got fired, I can't see.
I mean,
I know how people feel about Larry.
It's the same, trying to talk to you is the same as her.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Just tell me what you need.
I'm trying to tell you. Okay, I'm trying to tell you.
I'm listening.
Hi, I'm Larry Clothier. I'm Roy Hargrove's manager.
And stop interrupting me or I'm getting the fuck out of here and you go fuck yourself. No, I'm serious. There's too much of this. I've been doing this shit with her for weeks. And I can't take much more of it. Any little thing in this business that we need needs to be delineated and has to be clear with a contract. Okay, and none of this is coming.
I think I introduced Larry to Roy, but I didn't know Larry. Larry was not a manager then. Larry was a road manager. Then next time I saw them, Larry was Roy's manager. So, I initially discouraged Roy from that.
I remember thinking, what high school junior has a manager? I was taught early to be wary and cynical of all managers.
Try to find out what you need so you can
One
get
thing
it.
we gotta get past is all the fucking lying that's been going on and the bullshit.
Roy made it very clear to me at one point that that was his choice for management and that was his business. And once he told me basically this is what it is, step off, I had to step back.
Larry was extremely effective, in my opinion, at what he did. He wanted to promote Roy, but as of yet, Roy was perhaps still a little young to really draw, so he put a group of veteran players around him.
You stop this too, Roy. Just tell me. Go fuck yourself, Roy.
Nah, I'm good on him. Didn't care for him and how he treated people.
Can you want to hear me? Are you
fucking yelling at me, man?
Well,
back up.
Then you stop.
Back up.
Then you stop this.
I ain't doing shit to you.
Yeah, you want to do that.
Larry was a lot more than a manager for Roy. I mean, he was a booking agent, a manager. You know, he helped him start his corporation. I don't know how much of that is actually Roy's, but I guess he stood in as a lawyer. He's like everything, you know, so Larry wore all the hats. Roy's band was one of the most working bands in the history of the music, you know, especially for my generation, so Larry did his job in that way.
At no point ever in Roy's life do I know what they talked about. I know what I think I saw.
I know that things have not gone well in the past. And I
No,
know
we're not
you're
going
very
to say.
upset.
You just said we're not going to talk about
Okay.
the past. So.
All right. But I want to see how can we move forward.
I can't imagine, but you can give me an idea.
There were certain things he wasn't capable of handling. You know, to be totally honest, he wasn't good with money. You know, if Roy had money in his pocket, Roy was gonna have some clothes or a pair of Air Jordans or whatever, you know. Everybody has speculations about what was spent, where was that, I don't know. And I've heard so many things, so many people were mad at the management, but you're not there. You don't know what somebody's situation is.
Okay, I'll put it this way. I remember when I first hooked up with John Hammond at Columbia Records. I remember a call. Said, you might want to really think hard about being in this profession, because he actually told me this profession is about exploitation. You have to know how to manage your manager. Everything has to be managed. Right? Even a manager.
But there's a way of doing things to keep people on the hook and keep people just, you know, confused, you know, enough, you know, to get what you want out of them and then leave them, you know, still wondering what the hell happened after, you know. I had no idea when I'd be coming home sometimes, and you ask about the money, and every time you ask about money, you go, oh my God.
Larry was like a surrogate father, I think, to Roy. And so he really appeared to watch out for him and to help him.
In order for me to go, no, listen. Let me finish.
I'm not listening.
No,
I'm
you're
not listening. No, because I want to say something. Nobody, look, man, all that aggression and shit is not cool. And you wonder why people don't want to fuck with you. That's why. Because you're so.
What people?
Because all that aggression.
What people know?
Most people that come to me and ask me for shit.
Yeah.
They ask me, like, can you play somewhere? Well, oh, I don't want to deal with your manager because he's a fucking asshole.
Right. Right.
I actually got terminated from the band, from the sextet, you know. And like Art Blake used to say, man, it's the Roy Hargrove band, not the post office.
There was some issues in the band, and I was gonna leave anyway, but I was asked to leave a little earlier.
Everybody knows Ragman. Here's the thing I want you to understand, sweetheart. Nobody left Roy's band because of Roy.
Personally, I got fired because I was trying to express to Roy some of the things that I thought he might have been missing. But when I told Roy about these things, he went back and told management. Hey, bro, you can't tell everybody everything. This is for you. But, you know, that was a lesson learned, right?
I'm not a racist. I'm a whole lot of other fucking things. But that ain't one of them. You'd be hard-pressed to find anybody that would tell me I'm a racist.
Please, can you guys stop
I
this?
don't think so.
It's just so ugly.
This is all bullshit. I didn't even talk to you about any of this. I didn't know anything about any of this.
It's because you keep bringing up the past.
So does he own all of your publishing?
No, he don't own shit. I own all my shit. Larry's not who you think he is. He's not one of them motherfuckers that try to steal from you. He's a very, very honest guy.
Really?
Stand up all the way.
I've heard from other musicians that he's like ganging them out of money and stuff.
They're bullshit. They're full of shit.
Really?
They're full of shit. He's never cheated anyone. He's not like that. Man, Ragman is one of the most straightest motherfuckers I ever met in my life.
Is that why you like him?
I love him. He's been like a father to me. You know? Serious. He looks out for me in ways that you cannot believe. You know, I damn near went to jail. That motherfucker came through for me, got me out of that shit. You dig? I was facing it. Ragman came through. Pulled me right out of that shit. You dig?
Yeah.
So, I don't give a fuck. Say what you want. He might be an asshole, but he's a straight motherfucker.
Oh, man, there's so many dirty tricks to get played with creative people across the board, across the world. A lot of rats riding into the gates of heaven on the backs of the ox. Pharaoh is always making a plan of some sort. Him and his counselors. But he never really wins. It's not up to him. Beautiful people will find ways to be beautiful, even in a brutal world. If all the Pharaoh can do is to be brutal, well, then he lost already.
So you win, Larry. You win.
I didn't win anything.
You have brought me to my knees.
I didn't win anything.
I fucked up Europe.
I didn't win
okay?
anything.
Are you happy about that? You have the
no,
power.
No, I'm not. I am not.
Now,
This has been a fucking nightmare to me.
Well, it's unfortunate. It's sad that I didn't get access, but you know, you can pull VN footage off the internet because they post it every year. I have Herbie and Roy performing.
Jesus
but it's
Christ.
true, they do.
Come on now.
I'm done with this shit.
Yo, see what I'm saying?
Pull whatever the fuck you want off the internet.
He doesn't talk well. He's a goddamn fool. I don't know what to do with this guy. He just walks out.
That was something else, man.
And it's all on film. Can you do that shit?
And he let us do it.
He let us do it. And he's stupid because he looked like a damn fool.
My point is, you being alive, wandering around the earth playing, as if Miles Davis was still alive, wandering around the earth playing, or Dizzy Gillespie was still alive. You know what I mean? And so, like, that's what I'm trying to show people. Like, he's here right now. Don't miss him.
Well, put that shit in your
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
What's your perspective as an artist on all these Black artists dying without wills, and the position that it puts their families in? And
yeah, it's a difficult one.
The way they kind of program you in this industry is like you take it when you get it, you know, might not come again.
but it also speaks to this environment that's around art and creativity, like this kind of very cold, clinical business ecosystem around something that is very nuanced and fluid, you know? If you're an artist, if you're really an artist, it's not just something you do. It's who you are, it's how you live. Some people are more about giving, and other people are more about taking. So the takers seem to be very keen on making sure that all of the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, because that's how they get through in life. And the givers are just kind of like, you know, I have what I need, so I don't need to guard the cave with all of the gold in it, you know? Not because I don't value gold, but I'm not here for the gold. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for something else. These are things that somebody created, kind of a moment between them and the universe. Now this got all of this, like, 33% belongs to this person, and we signed you to this, so we get to that, we exploit it, blah, blah, blah. Because that thing is run by people who don't really value the art beyond what they know it produces in the marketplace. And if it didn't, then people wouldn't even be there at all, like, at all.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It happens so often that there's more to it than just people simply overlooking it.
Right, or like, oh, there's these kooky artists, they're just reckless, they're irresponsible, they're, you know, indulgent. It's something else going on. You know, because these people are not stupid. And it's like people fighting over a dead person's belongings. It's just kind of, I mean, I get it, but there's an ignobility to it, to say the least, you know?
Ignobility.
It's just a very ignoble act, you know? You can't figure out what to do with it, then, like, give it to a charity. But, like, to claim it for yourself, to, you know, it's just weird. It's really weird.
I'll put it this way, sister. You asked me a controversial question. A person like Roy Hargrove with his artistry could have at least passed away or died, passed away or transitioned with at least, with the apartment that he had on the Lower East Side, at least a little house outside of New York. I mean, not no big fancy house, ma'am. A little 2, 3 bedroom house to where he got a little basement he could work on his music, okay? And at least $250,000 in the bank.
And why do you think he didn't have that when he died?
Because of the lack of creativity of management. In fact, ma'am, you can put all that shit in your movie. I don't give a fuck.
Thank you, Frank. Do you have anything else?
No, that's about it. To be honest, ma'am, I'm kind of pissed at it. You don't now, okay? Cut this camera off. Don't get too controversial, dog. To be honest, I'm kind of pissed at it, man. See what I'm saying? There's creative ways to deal with an artist, man. Don't get me started, ma'am. We ain't, you know, niggas do more than pick cotton. You know, why does all us artists, you know, get worked to death? If anybody else you interview come real like that, I'd be surprised. Now I'm finished.
I've always kind of been into the poetic stuff, you know. Even besides music, when I was in high school, my English teacher pulled me aside and turned me on to people like Wordsworth, you know, and Henry David Thoreau.
Cats like that, you know. So, you know, when I write songs, I'm thinking about this type of poetic nature. Yeah. So it all makes sense, and it has like a beauty to it. Yeah. Yeah, that cat, Emerson, what's his name?
Ralph Waldo.
Yeah. Dope. Love this stuff. The tiger burning bright. You know, that's that thing you keep reaching for, but you can't quite ever get it. It's in music, you know.
Was it a long travel day to get here?
Yeah. And then we had to play that night.
Do you normally travel and play in the same day?
Sometimes. Not all the time. Usually we get, you know, a break.
How many times have you had to do dialysis on this tour?
I don't remember how many, but there's been a few of them. Every other day.
Do you remember what cities you've done it in so far this tour?
No.
I became aware of Roy's health issues shortly after they started to occur. He was only 30.
We've seen Roy's physical morphing, and we didn't know what to think. Was it a habit? Like, is this Larry? And you know,
I knew there was kidney problems. He was in and out of the hospital the whole time.
Man, I just don't feel well. But I'm getting better. It's all right.
He never complained. That was the thing. He never complained, but I knew him, and I watched his mannerisms. I could tell that he was not feeling well. You know, you always heard a lot of rumors about Roy, and one thing I will say is like a lot of times people thought Roy was a certain way, and he wasn't. It was like he just didn't feel like being bothered. So he would create a space where people would not bother him so he could be at peace. Very, very smart guy.
It's not a bad thing. Just gotta work a little harder for it. You know, you might have to travel a little further to get to it. But once you get there, it's really beautiful. The oyster comes the pearl thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, look at this. This is gorgeous.
There were times when Roy first got sick, because I was on that tour, where Roy would be so sick till me and Sherman and Herbie just about had to carry him to the stage and to the gig.
You know, I started telling my manager about the pain I was having, and of course, you know, he's like, well, you know, I have had a lot of problems with drugs and shit. So he figured that it was something to do with that. Just kind of wrote it off. Didn't even really think much of it. And he was telling, you know, doctors and shit that was coming around. Hey, no, he'll be all right. You know, he just has to let it pass or whatever. Anyway, his pain got to be so bad that, you know, I told my bass player, I was like, yo, somebody's got to take me to the hospital because I can't deal with it. So he threatened Larry. He told him, he's like, look, if you don't take him to the hospital, I'm gonna kick your ass right now.
You know, Roy had protection. He had protection from us at that time. We were not going to let anybody fuck over Roy or hurt him. And I know I wasn't.
They took me to the hospital and checked me out. Turns out that I had like some type of kidney problem. They decided to send me to a kidney hospital where they had to do an operation on me that involved puncturing both sides, both kidneys, and letting out all the bad fluid that was in me. Needless to say, it was very painful. I was screaming. It was a mess.
he was struggling with like a birth defect, you know. He had the flap that goes from the bladder into the kidney. It went both ways on him. And that ended up hurting his kidneys, you know.
I stayed there for like a month. It took that long for all of the bad fluid to come out, and I don't know, it took maybe about a year before they finally put me on dialysis. And it was kind of like, you know, what they say, what was that? Frank Lacey was telling me about this thing called the Saturn Returns, where, you know, you have your big test of life. It was kind of like that for me, because it was like, you know, either you live or you die.
Saturn, at his farthest point, I think 31 years, between the age of 26 to like 31, 32, is basically when a human being is really becoming an adult. If you don't learn the lesson of what you're about, what you didn't learn is gonna hurt you in the future.
I can't imagine what pain he was going through and what that's like to sit in a chair for 8 hours where you're getting your blood transfused several times a week. And again, to get on stage and perform and transform people's life conditions through your music, and then to go to a club after that and to be an educator for the next generation of musicians. That was, in my opinion, a musical prophet.
Trying very hard to make my tears remain. That's quite impossible. I'm still in love with you. You happen one day. Wait. You happen one day, so very. And the month will be May for a while. I try to smile, but cannot play the part without my heart behind the smile. I forgot the last phrase. You know, it's like, I try to learn all the words to the song, because if you know the words, then you can play the melody true, you know? So it's another thing I tell the young players when they learn the standards. It's important to know the lyrics too, because then you can really play the melody right. But it's not easy to find that. You gotta do your research, you know? You gotta go to like the Broadway show where it was written, you know, and find out who was some of these songs are really like corny, you know? That's the one thing, the best thing about people like Miles Davis. You know, they take these corny melodies and they make it their own and make it so slick, you know? Miles Davis and Nat King Cole, Shirley Horn. She's probably one of my favorite out of the interpreters. Shirley Horn and Carmen McRae. They really know how to deliver the song, the vehicle. Yeah. Shirley Horn. Something happens to me every time, and I can feel when you are near. A strange kind of something goes rushing through me. I know somehow you have appeared. Then, baby, something happens to me every time, and I can feel that you're grooving too. I can tell that you have been caught in the spell that I am under. We gaze into each other's eyes with breathless wonder. To say that when something happens to you, it happens to me, or something like that. Maybe it's backwards. Yeah, some of these songs are so poetic. Back in the day, our grandfathers, great-grandfathers, they had rap. They really know how to talk to the ladies. Not like now. It's like, give me some pussy. Right now. No, I'm just kidding. You cool? What's up, Eliane?
I'm good. I love this. This is beautiful. This is amazing. Thank you.
You all right? You don't care. You're gonna want something else in 10 minutes. And you're gonna be crying. Roy, please, give me. Roy, please.
You think the music's too fast now?
Huh?
You think the music's too fast now when you say that?
No, I'm just saying, no, I was just making a comparison to the lyrical content. Because back in the day, you know, when they wrote songs, the lyrical content was very poetic. You know, especially with some of the standards. Like, for instance, like Prisoner of Love. Like, you know, he says, alone from night to night you'll find me, too weak to break the chains that bind me. I need no shackles to remind me that I'm just a prisoner of love. Then, let's see, for one command I'll stand and wait now, for one who's master of my fate now. I can't escape, for it's too late now.
Don't let me be a prisoner. What's the good of my caring for someone who's sharing those arms, but not with me?
Then the last one, he comes in with the hard joint. Is you're in my dreams, awake or sleeping, down on my knees to you I'm creeping. My very soul is in her keeping. I'm just a prisoner of love. Gypsy. So what?
Here, just stick it right there. Just stick it like that.
I'm playing here. I'm posing in front of the place where I'm playing tonight. That's where I'm at.
How does it feel to be at the end of the tour?
Ready to go home, tired. I'm over it. All right. Done with Roy? Came full circle back to Marseille, where I kind of started. The beginning of my career was like in Aix-en-Provence, right near here. And then we came here. So it was like, I was like 17 maybe years old. And I had never been out of Texas.
What's it like being in Europe the first time after growing up in Texas? Like, what was that like?
It was like a fucking...
Did it seem like a different world?
It was like, I don't really know how to describe it. It was like culture. You know, we were on the train a lot. I remember back then, that's when I used to drink too. So I was always drinking wine and eating great meals. Oh my God, we used to go to this place that has the best seafood I think I've ever had in life. It was in Catania, Sicily, right next to the volcano, Mount Etna. I don't feel good. Can you let me lay down? And then you catch me tomorrow, fresh, with the sun.
Will you come out to the port, to the water
Yeah.
tomorrow?
You guys can help me score drugs.
What kind of drugs do you want to score?
The hardest.
Why not just some gentle weed?
Because they ain't gonna have it. Marseille. French Connection. I'm fucking with y'all, man.
He had his problems, and as with all of us, eventually they catch up to us.
What age were you the first time you tried drugs or drinking?
Oh my God, really?
On the road? I'm just curious. I mean, that's an interesting
I don't know. I
thing.
started that shit before I went on the road. I mean, this has been a thing with me since I was probably a young boy. My father used to give me the cold duck. It was like the milk drink with the alcohol in it when I was a kid. I don't know. It's probably been a part of me since I was a kid.
A lot of times you talk to Roy, you might be disturbing him, and that's kind of what he left people with. You know, people would say to me, yo, what's up with your boy? I'm like, man, he's cool. Come to find out later, Roy told me, look, Mark, you know, there's a lot of things about me you didn't know.
Yeah, I had that in my family, you know. My uncle was a alcoholic, a drug addict. All of our, families, we have a tradition of mental illness, a tradition of drug abuse. So I was always sensitive to it. Because in New Orleans, all the guys in my father's band, except for one, died of heroin overdose. Roy and I, we have conversations about that too. One time I sent him to a rehabilitation clinic. He went, and he struggled with it. It was a struggle.
I'm fighting with myself because I really want to go outside and try to find some drugs. But I can't do that. I'm gonna stay in. Fight it off. I like drugs.
Playing music is such a personal thing. It's not something that lies outside oneself that one is doing as a job. We do this as a commitment, especially if you're playing jazz. It's challenging to play jazz. Every moment, to create something new each time is very challenging, especially if you're in front of an audience, and the best way to position yourself in front of an audience is essentially kind of being naked in front of them and presenting your true self, your inner self, expressing that. That's so hard to do.
I should have been more proactive. He was fighting, he fought against it. Everybody always thinks that you can just overcome something more. And I'm saying that to say just it's circumstances, and everybody's down here for a different reason. And it's not for us to, we don't know the reason. And I think Roy, he gave a lot. And he was fighting with stuff. And he struggled in his upbringing. Roy, he didn't have a free ride.
It's not just musicians, it's artists, it's writers. It's anybody that seeks the creative gene. We don't feel that we are sort of normal like most people have a wife and a kid and a family or lots of kids. But even those people, everyone has some way of escaping.
Okay, well, this is it. I'm saying goodnight.
All right.
All right.
Do your thing. Here.
Oh, God. My whole thing right now is just about trying to be an example and try to keep God in everything I do. Because as long as he's at the wheel, you can't go wrong. I call myself a docile collaborator with God, because he's the boss. You know what I'm saying? Can you dig that? Docile collaborator. People get in their own way a lot of times when they just let God handle it. Not to say that you can't handle it too, but sometimes you just gotta let go and let it be. Let things happen as the way they should happen,
I've been a Buddhist now, actually, for 47 years. He chanted with me, and he really liked it.
I find that when I was chanting with Herbie, my rhythmic thing got really broad. You know? It's like, it's so deep because with him, he's so deep with it that sometimes it starts to sound random, but it's not random. He'll just drop one on you and you'll be like, oh shit, he's been playing in time that whole time.
But one thing about Buddhism, it actually kind of gets the dust off of what you have inside.
It's almost like a priesthood.
Yeah, yeah.
And to a certain degree with the art, at a certain point, like, it gets like that. And because a lot of people don't really have anything in their lives that they would focus that type of attention and devotion to, they can't understand it. They're cynical about it. They're like, well, this person must be crazy or like just like off. They don't have anything that they're that inspired about.
And he was a griot, you know? He was a storyteller. He was a mystic, you know? And now, you know, he's one of the ancestors, you know?
I always say that even if it's no one, there's nobody in the audience, sometimes that we have our best gigs like that because the spirits are listening, you know? Maybe there's nobody there, but there's like the invisible people are there listening. And sometimes they give you a lot. And the music gets better.
Talk to me about the French and their understanding of jazz and the history of that.
I think the French are beboppers because of Ravel, Maurice Ravel, and his concept of harmony. And plus, back in the 40s, Bird and Miles came over here. But Powell lived in France. So did Johnny Griffin. So they spread their vibes all over. Whenever I play in France, I always get like all these encores. They want us to play all night. I remember when my father passed away and I went to his funeral. I didn't feel right about that. I didn't like being there. And I tried to go and see him one night. And I drove to the cemetery, but I didn't get out the car. I get a feeling if my father had been a musician, he would have been
first shit, he called me, you know. So I flew to Cincinnati. You know, I looked at Roy, he did not look good. You know, he was very sick, but he was so happy, and I was so happy. And then we went outside after the sound check, and we were just talking about life.
Yeah, in Set France, I got worried. When I saw him at that gig, I thought, oh man, he's looking weak again.
Talking about old times, bringing up stories, we were laughing. We're like, stop making me laugh so hard. I'm like, man, stop making me laugh so hard. And we talked about the state of these young musicians and where they are. And Roy was like, yo, Cannon, man, I'm just trying to help these kids, man. Get some focus, man. They don't got no focus. Trying to just show them, man. That's why I'm out every night now, man. And that's why I'm hiring young guys, man. I'm just trying to help them. You know, trying to show them the way. I said, man, you are showing them. You've always shown them the way, Roy. Shit, you showed me the way, you know, for a lot of things, man.
Questlove texts me that morning, and he goes, I guess you heard. I'm thinking, oh, fuck. It could have been any other soul choir.
I'm on the phone with my wife, and she says, Roy died.
He was tired. I think that's the only reason why he would leave anyway. He was tired. Tired enough.
Part of me knows that he had fought for so long with this illness. I didn't know whether to feel like my brother's finally at peace and he doesn't have to fight this anymore. Maybe his soul and his body are relieved. I would have liked to have seen him one last time to tell him that I love him.
You know, mourn people when they're alive. Like, you know, I felt like I should have, you always feel like you could have did more, you know, but you didn't. You did what you did, so.
I always saw Roy like this angel of light, and his essence was to bring this beauty to the world. But because it was so powerful and so strong, that negative force had to be around him. So I always felt like this energy was always trying to contain him. And he fought it for 49 years. And now he's in a better place. If there is a heaven and there's a jam session going on right now, he's not letting John Coltrane and those cats sleep. He's just playing, you know, with everybody, Louis Armstrong on up.
It was all love for the great Roy Hargrove. You know, he was a really super musician and a good human being. So it's down in the Akashic records. So
we got a chance to laugh one more time. You know, I didn't know Roy was gonna pass after that. And, you know, we hugged and kind of.
What do you think happens when we die?
Oh. When we die, I think we go and deal with God. We're in the spirit world now, and we have to face the Creator. I think that when we die, that we go to Him. He takes us. He's taking us home. At least that's what I believe, anyway. I've always believed that. We have fulfilled whatever our purpose is for being on Earth. So yeah, I think that's just God. We go to see Him. We go to be with Him in the land of milk and honey.
Are you afraid of
If we believe in it. No, not really. I don't want it to come prematurely, but no, I'm not afraid. I want to see God. God is great. He's a master. He does all of this stuff. I would miss Earth, but being with God is the best. Best place that you can be.
Hey, it's Roy, your boy. I just want to say goodbye and say that thank you for everything you gave me and took care of me and all that stuff. And you know, my prayers are with you and your family. And you really are the bomb. And I appreciate what you're doing for me. And I love you. Okay, bye.
Thank you.